Cardano is different, and maybe it's time we start accepting and embracing that. A lot of people in Cardano are focused on interoperability and attracting developers and use cases from the EVM world. All those things are fine and great, but in some ways, it's a little like if Tesla were extremely worried that GM and Toyota aftermarket parts manufacturers weren't building things for Teslas. Who cares? We don't need to rebuild another pond on the island. Let's embrace and accept that Cardano is different. Let's lean into that and go after the ocean. Ready? Let's go. Today, we are going to discuss a short but I think important Africa update from John O'Connor, a new partnership for COTI and Djed, the conclusion of the Artifct Moon treasure hunt, and some new information on cornucopias from the latest Kopi Cafe episode. If your fridge is full of eggs with alternately enraged and shocked faces, or if you're finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating. I would love it if you would delegate to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. Cardano is like this really weird Terminator that has a completely different mission than all the rest of the Terminators. It's like all the Terminators landed on Earth and, they did that thing with the bubble that like melts the concrete and everything. And they just kind of pop up because they just time traveled. All the Terminators landed in different spots on Earth, and all the other Terminators, it's like the rest of crypto. They're like, our mission is to flip those NFTs, make those ducats from flipping NFTs. We're also going to make those gains on those DeFi tokens. We're going to launch some DeFi protocols and make some gains on those DeFi tokens, those governance tokens and other tokens with the DeFi. Those are our missions, DeFi and NFTs. That's what we do. We're Terminators. And then you got the Cardano Terminator. The Cardano Terminator, also a Terminator. It's going to relentlessly pursue its goal. And you won't even know it's out there relentlessly pursuing that goal. It's just working in the background, constantly getting closer to its goal. But the Cardano Terminator, its goal is this creating a level playing field for the entire world thing. Sure, we do the NFT stuff too. We do the DeFi stuff too. And I love the people in Cardano who are doing those things for us. I'm glad they're doing it and I love them. But Cardano is also this weird Terminator in the background, relentlessly pursuing this goal of actually creating a more level economic playing field for the world. And we don't hear about that part of Cardano as often. We talk about all the DeFi stuff and all the NFT stuff all the time, but every once in a while we get these great updates where we find out the Terminator is not relentlessly pursuing John Connor, or in this case, John O'Connor. They're actually allies. They're working together. And we get these little updates from John O'Connor. This one is short, but I think important. John O'Connor says they're moving into the implementation phase with the Ministry of Education program in Ethiopia. This month, they're training the teachers. Then they're hoping to roll out to the students over the next 8 weeks. Their goal is to have 1 to 2 million students using the software by the end of the year. And then next year, it'll be expanded to the full 5 million students as envisioned in the contract with the Ethiopian Ministry of Education. Let me repeat that again. This month, they're onboarding the teachers at the schools, the headmasters at the schools, the headmistresses at the schools. Then they're going to have this 8-week period where they roll out to the students. And the goal by the end of the year is to have 1 to 2 million students using this software. We've got some big projects in crypto now. We've got a big Bitcoin project going on in El Salvador, and we get some and that's wonderful. I was really happy to hear that news. I think it's wonderful what's happening, and we get some updates from what's going on down in El Salvador. We've also got one nation state in Africa that is coming to the Bitcoin standard, another domino falling, another nation state domino. But you have to ask the question, how many people are actually using Bitcoin in those cases? And we do get that data. We get those updates. But this is a solid 1 to 2 million students that are going to be using a cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin. This is a pretty big step forward for cryptocurrencies in general. And it's not just use of a cryptocurrency as a currency. This is a use of the blockchain for actual storage and retrieval and security of data. This is a really big step forward. This is something different. People will dismiss this saying it's more important to have nation states using Bitcoin as a currency. And I think that that is important. But this is something different. Now we're talking about a whole nation of students actually using a blockchain for something other than just the use of the currency. John says they've also launched the REO incubator with iSatis that already has 25 projects in the program and is soon looking to enroll more. John says he'll have more news to report soon on the RealFi front, and that will be focused on connecting crypto liquidity up to real world asset classes. I'm really curious to hear what this is. You'll remember we had some news, seemed like there was something brewing with microloans in Kenya, and we haven't heard about that for a while. So I'll be really curious to hear what this is. John, again, characterized it as something focused on connecting crypto liquidity up to real world asset classes. Here's another partnership for COTI and Djed. COTI and Djed have partnered with the Gata Launchpad. Gata. I don't know how we pronounce this. The Gata Launchpad. They say this will help Gata bring more fundraising options to both investors and project owners in the Cardano ecosystem. Some people may think that these little partnerships are not that important. I like to take a look at these because even if they start out as a tiny thing, some of these small partnerships may eventually grow into bigger and much more important items. If you were trying to find the Artifct Moon treasure, or if you even knew it existed, you can now relax. The Artifct Moon treasure has been found, and the winner, I believe, will be claiming their 2001 ADA and a Moon car. So all the information was hid in the Artifct Moon flight plan. You'll notice we covered that on this channel. It was kind of set up as like a 1950s style NASA type document, definitely a government document. And hidden within that flight plan were certain bolded numbers and some QR codes. And this poster right here was the one who found the Moon treasure at Ash X Land Z, and he takes you through exactly step by step how he found the whole thing. So if you're curious, if you were looking for the Moon treasure and could not solve the puzzle, or if you just want to see how complicated this was, check out this thread from Ash X Land Z. Kopi Cafe, episode 6. Kopi Cafe is the podcast of Rob and Josh of Cornucopias, and we got some good information in this episode. They say they're laser focused on the land sale and still proclaiming it'll be the best land sale ever. I love the sounds of that. They spent some time talking about the various roles and tiers that will give priority in the land sale, which we covered in a previous episode. They want to take care of the community and also provide for new growth. So they know they have to bring in some new people, but they also want to take care of their existing community. And Cornucopias does seem to have an extremely strong community. There will be a land sale testament this week. I believe it'll be this week because they said next week, and this episode of Kopi Cafe was released on the 7th of last week. So I'm assuming when they said next week, that'll be this current week. They'll be minting trees as NFTs in this land sale testament. All the money will go to actual tree planting in the real world, but the NFTs you'll be purchasing will actually be trees, which I believe they said you'll be able to plant on your parcels in cornucopias. So this is the mint I believe they referenced in a previous episode of Kopi Cafe. They said there'd be a testament and it would be something pretty inexpensive. So I don't believe we've heard an actual amount, but I'm expecting it to be something pretty inexpensive since they're not trying to make money off this. All the money is going to go toward tree planting. Because the purpose of this mint is to test their technology, they say the people who participate as a reward will be eligible for NFT drops of certain kinds in the future. There will be 2 land sales happening in the near future. One will be the zone land in one of the 3 zones. I believe there will be an Age of the Samurai zone, an Old West zone, and a farming life zone. So one of these 2 land sales in the near future will be the zone lands in one of those 3 zones. Each zone will also have multiple sectors, and there is a fixed supply of this zone land, and it will be in-game land where you can actually put houses and shops and farms and things like that, depending on size. Shortly after that first sell of the zone lands, there will be a custom dome sell. They haven't yet determined supply on the custom domes. The custom domes are about entrepreneurship, and they're envisioning gamers and YouTubers building in these custom domes. I think if Cornucopias actually is the point that people are actually building small businesses within these custom domes that are actually creating some revenue, then they'll really be onto something. There will be more explanation in the land documentation and the COTI wiki, but the big distinction between these two different types of lands is that it'll be the land in the first cell, the zone land, that has the fixed supply. Rob then gave us a demo of the current version of the builder that you use on your home island. He fully built a small house in just a minute or two. It was super quick. Basically laid down the bottom flat platform, the floor, put up walls, windows, a door frame, and a door. Very quick process to build the small home that you see here. He then gave us a demonstration of how you'd lay out the interior of a larger house. Rob explained that your first task in the game will be to acquire the raw materials in the zones to actually build your house in your personal bubble. Rob says they're probably 25% of the way there on the builder. Josh and Rob said down the road there could even be community building projects where the whole community gets together and builds a whole city in 2 weeks or something like that. Obviously, we're talking far down the road here. They also think there could eventually be contract builders who will build things like this for you as a service. They also have an avatar building system. And here's an example of a blacksmith shop that you could build on your zone land to create metal goods to then sell for in-game currency. We then got down to the stuff that I really like, the fine-grained details, like the size of parcels. So I think it was in the last Kobe Cafe that we found out the small size parcel would be about the size of an NBA basketball court. It turns out the medium-sized plots will be 36 meters by 24 meters, which don't have a good analog in terms of sort of sports fields. But if you take what I believe is a Major League Baseball diamond here, I believe Rob said it would, the 36 meter by 24 meter parcel would take up this red space, which is kind of from home plate almost to third base, and then almost all the way out into the outfield in between first and second base. They said that when Unreal Engine 5 dropped, that meant that they were able to increase the size of the parcels to the sizes that we have now, but they were able to keep the prices the same. So it's a pretty good deal for the people who might be acquiring these parcels and then using them in-game. Finally, they showed us the public transportation shuttle of the Cornucopias world, which looks like this, kind of like something out of Star Trek or Star Wars. This will allow you to travel from your home bubble to the zones. I hope you are having a fantastic week, and I will talk to you tomorrow.